In February of 2008, a young real estate agent in Victoria, British Columbia, stepped into an empty house to show it to what she believed were prospective buyers. She never walked out. Her name was Lindsay Elizabeth Buziak. Born on November 2, 1983, she was just 24 years old when her life was taken. Friends and family described her as warm, ambitious, and full of energy. She had a close relationship with her parents, Jeff and Evelyn, and her sister, Sarah. Lindsay was building a promising career as a real estate agent with Remax Camosun Realty. She was popular among her colleagues and known for being caring, hardworking, and determined to succeed in a competitive field. On the afternoon of February 2, 2008, Lindsay received an unusual call on her personal phone. A woman with a foreign accent introduced herself and said that she and her husband were looking to buy a high-end home. They claimed to have a budget of up to $1 million and wanted to view a specific vacant property in the Gordon Head neighborhood of Saanich that same day. The woman used a name that later turned out to be false. Lindsay felt some hesitation. It was unusual for clients to contact her so directly about such a large sale, and something about the request felt slightly off. Still, she agreed to meet them. She told her boyfriend of about a year, Jason Zalo, about the appointment. Jason's family was also involved in real estate. He offered to wait nearby in his vehicle for her safety while she showed the house. Lindsay drove to the property at 1702 D. Souza Place. It was a large, empty home in an upscale residential neighborhood. Witnesses later reported seeing Lindsay greet a man and a woman outside the house. The woman was described as blonde, roughly 35 to 45 years old, and wearing a patterned dress. The man was described as tall, about 6 feet, Caucasian with dark hair. They shook hands with Lindsay and followed her inside. What happened next remains at the center of this unsolved mystery. Within minutes, Lindsay was attacked in the master bedroom upstairs. She was stabbed more than 40 times. There were no defensive wounds, suggesting the attack happened suddenly and without warning. Nothing was stolen from Lindsay or from the house. There was no evidence of sexual assault. And the attackers left almost no physical trace behind. Jason arrived a short time later. He saw the man and woman still near the property, but chose to wait rather than interrupt the showing. When he could not reach Lindsay by phone and discovered that the front door was locked, he and a colleague made their way into the backyard. They entered the house through an open patio door. Jason did not know the layout of the home, but went upstairs and discovered Lindsay's body in the master bedroom. He immediately called 911. Police arrived quickly, but the couple was gone. Investigators believe they escaped through the back of the property and fled the area. The crime scene was carefully examined, yet it produced almost nothing investigators could use. No DNA from the killers. No identifiable fingerprints. And no other significant physical evidence that could lead police directly to the attackers. Detectives described the murder as highly organized and deliberate. It appeared to be the work of people who knew exactly what they were doing. Jason Zalo and a colleague who had been with him were taken into custody early in the investigation. They were later released after their accounts were verified. Surveillance footage and other evidence supported their version of events. Jason continued to cooperate with police over the years, including taking and passing a polygraph examination. Authorities also publicly stated that no member of the Zalo family was considered a suspect. In the months and years that followed, the investigation expanded. Police conducted hundreds of interviews. They obtained warrants for phone records, emails, and other information. Investigators followed up on countless tips. Lindsay's recent online activity, phone calls, personal relationships, and connections were all closely examined. Some theories suggested that the murder could have been connected to people in her wider social circle who were involved in criminal activity. However, police found no solid evidence that Lindsay herself was involved in anything illegal. Other speculation pointed toward organized crime or a personal motive. But none of those theories produced an arrest. Lindsay's father, Jeff Buziak, refused to allow his daughter's case to fade from public attention. He offered a substantial reward for information leading to an arrest. He created a website dedicated to the investigation. And he organized annual walks in Lindsay's memory to continue pushing for justice. Her family has continued searching for answers, even as the years have passed. More than 18 years later, the murder of Lindsay Buziak remains unsolved. Saanich police have repeatedly stated that the investigation remains active. Advances in DNA technology and forensic methods have been applied to the case. Investigators have also worked with other law enforcement agencies, including the FBI at certain points in the investigation. New tips are still being accepted. Someone, somewhere, knows the identities of the man and woman who met Lindsay that afternoon. Someone knows why she was targeted. And someone knows why she was killed inside that empty house. If you have any information, no matter how small it may seem, or how many years have passed, please contact the Saanich Police Department. Lindsay Buziak was a young woman with her entire future ahead of her. A daughter, a sister, a friend, and a young professional just beginning her career. She deserves justice. And her family deserves answers. Thank you for watching.